I worked with a homeless senior who was very sick with kidney disease and on fentanyl. We had a hard time getting him into care. During COVID, he got a private room thanks to Dean's emergency hotel program. I'm a registered nurse. I mostly work with homeless people, mostly in the Tenderloin. My favorite part about it is getting to talk to people that often don't interact much with the healthcare system and finding creative ways to get them what they need. Getting to just really meet interesting people with amazing stories. There was this one man that, he was an older man, and he had previously been uninterested in receiving medical services, maybe a little bit suspicious, maybe a little bit paranoid around people in uniform. And a lot of people would say that, oh, that person can't be helped and we just need to throw them in jail. But the nurses kept outreaching this guy and saw that he had a lot of complex medical and psychiatric issues, as many of the homeless people do in that area. Eventually, he gained enough trust with the nurses to let us take some blood samples, and from that we found that he actually had end-stage renal disease. And with that, you need to get treatment, specifically dialysis, or else you will die eventually. In addition to this, he was also addicted to fentanyl, so it made it difficult for him to follow up with appointments and all that. And even when the nurses would go to him, he often wouldn't be there. He would go missing from time to time. We never knew exactly what was going on with him. And that was, things were just going kind of in a poor direction. Nurses were talking and doctors were talking about putting him on hospice. He had a really poor prognosis. And then something huge happened that has never happened before, and that is COVID. Overnight, during COVID, all of a sudden, people were able to be indoors. Thanks to Dean Preston, we had the SIP hotels, the shelter-in-place hotels, and he really made it possible for thousands of homeless people to be placed indoors in their own rooms where they could lock their doors and have a bed to sleep and rest and heal in. So for this guy in particular, that really was what he needed. Suddenly we were able to pick him up every single appointment for his dialysis. Once his kidney disease was starting to be treated a little bit, he was able to think clearly, he was able to feel okay. We started taking him to methadone. We were doing this every day, so we would pick him up, take him to dialysis, and then straight from there to methadone, and then back to the hotel where he could sleep in his bed and just heal. At this point, when I met him, he was still in his SIP hotel room, which he had decorated. He had a pet cat and a pet fish that he took care of. He took his medications every day, and he was able to be taken to dialysis every day and methadone every day. And because of that, he's been able to be off fentanyl for the first time in decades. And he just looked unrecognizable from his old pictures. He was totally pleasant, lovely to be around, no paranoia. He had really grown close with the nurses and the hotel staff, and he had actually been able to go through the coordinated entry process and was getting approved for his own apartment. So none of this was able to happen if he hadn't gotten stabilized inside in the first place. He was able to heal, he was able to become himself because he was physically safe. He had a place that was stable and secure where he could lock the door, and that was really what saved his life.